the pain of, never eating carbs temporarily outweighs the pain of like your jeans not fitting. So you're like, I'm willing to sacrifice eating carbs as long as my jeans fit. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Melissa and this is Jessica, and today we're going to talk about the best diet for 2023. Before we get into the actual video, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live, and comment below if you want the chance to win $50. Jumping into it, December, right? We have about a month left before January 1st hits. All over the TV, magazines, literally everywhere. There are different ads, different people who are promoting.
TV and magazines, that ages us so much.
It does age us. Social media, TV, magazines,
internet, all over the internet.
All over the world, there are a million different ads that you're being served right now telling you like, this is the best diet to start in, January 1st, 2023. It's gonna be your year, new you, like everything's gonna change, and this is really gonna be the year that like, you become the version that you actually want to be. Let's be honest, like how many times have you already tried that? And how many times have you fallen for the same false promises from all of these different diets that like tell you like, this is it, this is the one that's finally going to change everything
well,
for you.
And I think like it, just to prove a point, the title of this video is the best diet for 2023, and here you are clicking on it and watching it, trying to find what the best diet is for 2023, because like the diet industry and like the marketers, like they know what you're thinking. They know that you're thinking like, you've gone through this holiday season, you're probably going to gain that same 10-20 pounds come January 1st, and so you're looking for the next thing to work, because they know that nothing in the past has actually allowed you to lose the weight that you want to lose and actually keep it off for good. Clearly, like you're still here.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like if you consider your own diet history, like how many times have you jumped from like one diet to the next? Most of you have probably been successful at some point, right? Losing anywhere between like 5 to 30, maybe even more pounds, right? Like we've talked to women before who've lost like 80 pounds. But then the problem is, like you said, you can't sustain it and you end up gaining it right back. You've already proven like you know how to lose weight, but you can never seem to keep the results that you want. It really comes back to because you keep trying to find this like best diet, perfect diet, and all of those perfect diets are cookie cutter type plans. It's like a one size fits all where it doesn't take anything into consideration outside of foods that you should or shouldn't eat, like when you should eat, when you should not eat, and how much you should be exercising.
Well, yes, and like, so on one hand, like the diet is not taking into consideration anything like for you, but at the same time, like you're not taking into consideration, wow, it's a tongue twister. You're not taking into consideration what that diet is actually, like what the program is, and if you're actually going to enjoy it. And the problem is that you're at a point where you're in so much pain and frustration with how you feel in your body that you're willing to just try anything and everything that claims to be the best diet for fat loss, because you want a quick solution to it. The problem with that is when you keep trying these like best diets, you're trying the wrong things, because it's actually not the best diet for you. At the end of the day, the best diet for you for any year, doesn't have to be just 2023, is going to be something that is built around you and your lifestyle and your personality, like literally everything around you, so that you can actually sustain it for good.
Yeah, and I think like it all comes back to exactly what you were saying, is that so many of us, when we're about to start a new weight loss program, we're experiencing some type of pain, right? Like pain of your jeans not fitting, pain of not liking what you see in the mirror, pain of not being able to put on anything. Like you'd rather stay home than get dressed to go out because nothing fits you anymore. So we're experiencing some type of pain. And a lot of times that pain becomes something that feels so overwhelming that, like Melissa said, right, we're willing to jump into something that is also painful and also uncomfortable, like cutting out all carbs or replacing meals with shakes, or jumping down to 800 calories a day. And we're willing to do that for a short period of time because the pain of never eating carbs temporarily outweighs the pain of like your jeans not fitting. So you're like, I'm willing to sacrifice eating carbs as long as my jeans fit. But the thing is that is usually short-lived, right? Until life gets busy, until you're presented with an opportunity to indulge a little bit more, and you kind of just have one of those screw it moments. Either the scale's not moving, or you're just like, getting burnt out from your diet, or you're sick of not being able to enjoy the same types of foods that like your friends, your family, your kids enjoy. At that point, like the scales tip again and you're kind of like, I am really not happy eating carbs and this is actually really painful too. And so you go right back to your old lifestyle, and this is why, you know, we keep falling into this yo-yo diet, like hamster wheel of, you know, I'll do something for a short period of time, see some results, and then eventually like I fall off, I gain the weight back, and then I keep running the same cycle over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's why those cookie cutter plans don't work.
I think that instead of like you always falling for like the title of like the best diet for fat loss, the best diet for getting toned, the best diet for whatever, it should be like what is the best diet for you? Mm-hmm. Keto might be really good for someone and it might be really bad for someone else. Like if you love carbs, keto is bad for you. If you don't really like carbs, like it's kind of weird, but like sure, maybe like a low carb or like, you know, like very low carb diet like keto would be good for you. Intermittent fasting, some people love it just because of the nature of their job or their lifestyle. Like they naturally intermittent fast. Other people get hungry and they end up like binging when they you know are trying to fast. You can't say that like one is the best and because it worked for someone it's going to work for you. Same thing with like doing cardio or strength training, whatever it is, just because it's good for someone doesn't mean it's good for you. The problem with social media is you're looking at everyone like doing all these different programs and you're seeing like the marketing that says like, oh, this is the best diet for this, best diet for this, and you're seeing other people get results. And that's fine, but like you also don't have a peek behind the curtain. Did they get those results just like you might have one time and then they're gonna gain it all back, or they already have gained it back? Like you don't know. I think it's really important to just kind of like turn everything off that's like being pushed to you. Actually sit down and be like, what is going to work for me? What is going to allow me to be sustainable and to be consistent on this diet? Consistency in a diet is going to be key. If you're inconsistent, you're not going to make progress. If it's not sustainable, you can't do it forever. You're not going to make progress, or you're going to, and then you're going to gain it all back. I think when you're thinking of a diet, like you need to think like, what is going to set me up for success in the long run?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like picking those two apart, right? Looking at consistency, number one. If you're someone that loves carbs and I said, okay, you have to do keto and you have to be consistent with keto forever to see those results, like you're probably not going to stay consistent on keto forever. When we're thinking about like what's going to allow me to, you know, be most consistent, we have to think about all of those areas where you typically, you know, tend to fall off of your program. Is it going out to dinner? Is it grabbing takeout occasionally? Is it grabbing fast food with your kids like on the weekend after a game? Where are those areas that I usually find myself being inconsistent, and how do I build that into my programming?
Yeah.
And we use calorie cycling with our clients to help them stay consistent and give them some higher calorie days on those days when they feel like, you know, those are the days when I usually fall off. And that usually helps them to stay more consistent. So I think that's number one. Sustainability, like you said, is really number two. If you can't see yourself following a program for more than 3 weeks, it's not even worth doing it for more than a day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and like I'm kind of curious to hear from you, and you can just put it in the comments as you're watching this, but when you have ever started one of these diets in the past, was it in your mind to like, okay, I'm gonna do this diet and this is gonna be for the rest of my life? Or are you just thinking in your head, I need to do this diet, but you're not really thinking of future you're just thinking of right now? And let me know like in the comments. I'm curious to hear if anyone has ever like thought like been like, okay, keto, yep, this is my lifestyle forever. I'm willing to bet that like no one has ever thought that. The reality is that you should be thinking that. This is your life. This is the rest of your life, and why should you either have to be on a restrictive diet where you're eliminating all like the things that bring you fulfillment in life, or be bad and not be on a diet and just kind of like overdo it? Why can't there be a balance?
And I feel like that's the trap that so many of us fall into is I choose to do a diet for a specific period of time, right? Like we're often dieting for an event, or, you know, to get ready for summer, or to go on vacation, or someone's wedding. So we kind of set those immediate like time parameters around like how long am I going to stick to this for? I need to lose 10 pounds before this time. A lot of times when we do start those diets, we're not ever thinking about it in terms of like the longevity of the diet. We're not trying to make it into a lifestyle. But the problem with that is when you're on that diet, you're following a certain set of actions and a certain set of protocol that's going to allow you to get that weight loss result. But then as soon as like you stop doing that and life goes back to normal, you're no longer doing all of those actions or following the same protocol that allowed you to get that result. And you go back to the same actions and the same protocol that got you to a point where you're overweight in the first place. We have to stop acting surprised when we, quit doing whatever cookie cutter fad diet it is, and we just go back to normal life and we end up right back in the same position where we started.
Yeah.
Right? If your habits and like that foundation never changes, then we can't ever expect to sustain the outcome that we got. So I think that just ties back into everything that you said. When you're evaluating what is the best diet for you in 2023, you need to be thinking about longer than just 2023. You need to be thinking about what is something that I can truly turn into a lifestyle and something that I can follow for the rest of my life. And again, we found that calorie cycling, not to say it's the best diet for everyone, but for most of our clients, we found it's the most flexible, and it offers, the most ability to turn it into a lifestyle, more so than any other program that we've ever been a part of.
Yeah, and if you want to know more about calorie cycling, we have a few videos on here that tell you all about it. And you can also download our complete calorie cycling guide in the description below. And that's going to give you literally everything that you need to understand what calorie cycling is, why we calorie cycle, how to set up your own calorie cycle, and it will help you kind of get started on your own.
And then how you can actually take that calorie cycle to, help you lose fat right now, but then eventually how you can transition it out into a lifestyle later on down the road. So it literally has everything that you need to know to lose weight in 2023 and then keep it off for good.